Hey, this is Joe from Personas. In this video, I'm going to show you 3 uses for the project page in Studio One Professional. Let's dive in. The first use for the project page is the most obvious, and that is for mastering. It is, after all, a mastering suite. I actually use it for more than just mastering. I'll show you that in just a second. But for mastering, it is delightful. So, by the way, did you know that if you have multiple... First of all, did you know you can have multiple documents open in Studio One, meaning multiple songs and projects open and flip between them? Yeah, you can. The way you do that is just literally just open more than one and then click on this little button in the top right-hand corner, and it will show you, okay, it went to the most recent one, but it will show you a list of what you have open. And if you have 2 open, that'll just toggle back and forth between them. But the first use for the project page, of course, is for a proper mastering session. There's a couple of cool things about the project page you may already know, but each of these instances, these first 4 songs, are linked to, tied to, connected to songs inside of Studio One. So for example, if we're working on this EP and I decide I want to go back and fix something in the mix on the song Onward, I can just click on Edit Song, and it's going to go open that song for me. It's a little bit bigger session, so there we go. Now I can come in here, I can make my changes that I want. Let's say whatever. Make some changes, hit save. I can close that song out entirely. Then the next time I open this, you'll see this wrench is now red, meaning something's changed on this song. And when I first open this project, it'll say, hey, do you want to update all the files that have been updated? Do you want to update all the mixes that have been tweaked since the last time you opened this? And you can say yes or no. Or if you forget to say yes or no here, you can come to Project... Update mastering files, and that will do the exact same thing, which is, just so we're clear, if I have gone and made changes to 4 mixes, it will know which mixes have been changed because they haven't been updated yet, and it will go and open each song one at a time and render a new mix down of that song and replace what's here in the project page. So you're only ever listening to your most recent, most up-to-date versions of that song. So that's what makes this fantastic for mastering, because you can do your mixing, and once you're done, you send it to the project page using the internal send to project page menu, and now the 2 are linked, so you can always go back and forth if you ever need to. Now, in a perfect world, you would never need to go back and forth, right? The mix would be perfect, and you move on to mastering. But down here in the real world, sometimes we forget, oh, I forgot to fade out that guitar, or, oh, I left in that talking at the end. I'd rather go edit that track than try to edit it out here in the mastering phase. You can do all of that. Now, as far as the project page itself goes, we've got a lot of cool metering, big meters here, a big level meter here with a bunch of different modes, and then we also have the ability to, the correlation meter over here on the right with a phase meter. So a lot of cool options there. You can add all sorts of plugins. You can do mid-side processing here in the project page using Splitter Tool. By the way, speaking of mid-side processing, I've got a cool resource for you. I'll share that with you at the end. But if you want a platform, if you plan to do any mixing and you even have an inkling you're going to do mastering, Studio One Professional gives you the mastering page, the project page, as one of the benefits of having Studio One Pro, amongst other things. Okay, so the first thing is mastering. What's the second thing? The second way I like to use the project page is in a similar fashion, except I like to incorporate the project page early on in the production process. So long before it's time to master, I'll go ahead and create a project page for the project. So this project page for this particular EP, I created on day 1 when we sat down to record. And at the end of that recording session, after we tracked those 4 or 5 songs, I then added all of those to the project page. What did that allow me to do? Well, it allowed me to now, at the end of the session, Tim's packing up his drums, I can come in here on this project page that I've created. It's got all the mixes right there. I can slap a limiter on the output, and I can go ahead and render out MP3s of all the songs and send them to the band while they're on their drive home. Like, they can have it on their phone before they get to their car, and I can do it all from one page. So at the end of each song, when we're ready to move on to the next one, I would just quickly add it to the project. It would do a quick render, and then I can add the limiter here, and I don't have to do that over in the actual page itself. Plus, I can quickly click between all the different songs and hear where we're at with each song. So on the second recording session and the third and fourth ones, the guys would come over, and we would just click through here and listen to each song until we found one that we said, hey, let's go work on that one for a little bit. And we would go and work on that. And the way we would do that is we're saying, okay, let's go work on Keep Your Distance. We would right click, we'd go to Edit Song, and we're off to the races. It's a very, very cool feature for keeping things organized and connected and really keeping us in the flow of making music rather than spending a bunch of time managing where our files are or navigating a complex set of folders and things like that. Okay, the third thing, and this is something I haven't done a lot of yet, but I like the idea. I want to try it more. But you can use the project page as basically a holding area for your song ideas. So I get a lot of song ideas, obviously, when I'm not sitting right here. And even if I'm sitting right here, I get song ideas that I want to capture, but I may not have Studio One open, and I don't want to forget the idea. So I sometimes just record it right onto my computer using I almost always have this app open right here called Audio Hijack. That's how I render. I'm sending my audio right now. It's coming through my mixer into Audio Hijack through a limiter. There's a sync delay, blah, blah, blah. But one of these is a recorder, so I can just literally click this and hit record, and I can start recording my microphone right here without having to open anything else. And this is always just sitting here running in the background. But once that's done, it records those into a Dropbox folder on my desktop, and then I can access those from my phone, and that's all well and good, but they're all just kind of time-stamped files. What would be interesting is to bring them into a project like this, where I collect those song ideas. So here, for example, these are several different recordings that I did of different stages of thinking through a new song. So the first one was like this. Shake my fist at the sky. So something I came up with that little chorus with the acoustic guitar, and then I messed around with it on electric, I think. Coming up with like a verse section, and I would send these to my bandmates. But now I also have them here in Studio One, so I can quickly go through. That was like a little riff I thought might be cool. And this is a more developed version of the song. So you're almost getting to see a timeline of the life of the song in different phases along the way. So if I recorded something on my phone using the voice memo app in my car, not while driving, of course, that could be something that I Dropbox to my computer, drag it into this project, and now I've got like a history of the song. Or perhaps this is just a place to collect. Maybe I have 50 song ideas and I want to put them all in one place, because maybe today I'm like, I want to work on a new song idea. I can just come in, and if there's 50 songs here, I can just zoom out, or I can select which one I want to listen to, just double click on it, and the cursor will move to that one. And then I can just hit play and say, okay, there's me. Okay, I think I like that idea. I want to go work on that song. So it's a place to have all my songs in one place. Without it, it's a little more awkward to do it from like a folder, because these folders are usually full of lots of other garbage. But as you can see, I do lots of MP3s. These need to end up here, I think, because then I can name them. This is Shake First Idea, and then go, and so on and so forth. But I really like this idea. So if you have Studio One Professional and you are a songwriter and you're coming up with ideas for songs, this might be a great place to put them. And the reason this works, I think, better than the song page is because they're individual separate entities. I can export any one of them, but I can also say, I got this cool song that I came up with inside Studio One. Instead of having to open each song file to hear my ideas, because that is a little more friction than maybe you want when you're just trying to think of what to work on, you could take this song idea that you've started. Oh, that's amazing. And I can say, let's just add this to the Song Ideas 2022 project. And it'll go in, it'll add it to this project that we already have open. Okay, there was clipping, but let's pretend that there wasn't clipping. And now it's here. And so now in my list, my ongoing list of songs I'm working on, or just song ideas for 2022, now I have that one in this list as well. And since that was brought in from a song page versus just dragging in a raw audio file, I can actually get back to that song from within the project page by right-clicking on the song and choosing Edit Song. So a lot of cool ideas here. One of the things that made me fall in love with Studio One all those years ago was the little features like this that made my life easier, made my workflow more efficient, and let me do more music and less futzing with software, if that makes sense. By the way, I mentioned if you are interested in learning about mid-side processing, which is something I do during mastering occasionally, I did a mid-side masterclass for PreSonus Sphere members. So if you've been on the fence about joining Sphere, now might be a good time to join. It was a live stream that was all recorded and is in the members area waiting for you. Go check that out. There should be a link in the description below for how to get there. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.